So that, and here's a personalized question for you, Cad. Are you okay if they implemented just Skyrim's systems into the next Elder Scrolls and called it that gameplay wise? No, exactly. Like, and that's like, are they?
Go back
I
to
would like.
Morrowind.
No, I am not doing getting text saying miss as I slash a creature up my thing. No, no.
Well, I'm more so saying like the weapons and skills and magic.
Yes, yes, but yeah, I don't want chance to fucking hit in my action game.
Cad Plays is now live.
I mean,
So
you can get that effect by having things like glancing blows. But yeah, I mean, it's
like I love Morrowind, but that is not something I want to. Yeah, I think the gameplay has been very simple, and my issue with simple is it creates a broad audience, right? Like we have very old people and very young people being able to handle Skyrim's gameplay system. But at the same time, somewhere in the in between is like I would like a bit of complexity. I would like the time blocks. I would like a simple parry riposte system where if I, block at the very exact frame, I can get a quick slash in for a riposte, Something that's not necessary to play the game, like Dark Souls would be, but like, some complex systems there. Combos where my animation isn't just swinging the sword up and down repeatedly, but like the sword has yeah, not just like combos is in throwing in between lights and heavy. It's more on the animation side. I want my swords to feel like swinging a sword up and down, but I'm like actually doing a move set and make it feel vivid versus just again Skyrim was I literally hold the weapon up and drop it down and you do it at like a 15-degree angle between left and right. So and that's on the animation side. But and then obviously more weapons because somehow as Elder Scrolls games have progressed, we have lost weapon classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just please bring back Spears, dog. Big T. That's all I want. Todd, if you're listening.
I want halberds. I want my throwing weapons back from Morrowind.
I want my Devil's Spear back.
Doubles.
Yeah.
Right, but isn't Todd also? But isn't Todd also the reason why Starfield was as poor as it?
he also I mean, there was also the issue with it is he's so up there, people are afraid to criticize him or tell him no, that doesn't work because of XYZ.
All the yes men.
I was about to say we need to get Cat in there. Come to give you his spear. Free.
Yeah.
Gamers
Imagine,
are good
like,
at identifying problems. Gamers are good at identifying problems, but shit at finding solutions.
Yeah. Later.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Hello, chat. Sorry I'm running late. Must know I was indisposed on the toilet. Spare you all the gory details. But I hope everyone's doing good today. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Today's our first stream day of the week here because I essentially, as I explained on Discord, Kiki had some problems and she basically fell over the weekend onto our couch and ended up like landing in such a way that it like crunched like her neck and head into her chest, which she's fine. It's not like a serious injury or anything like that, but we think she like strained or tore a muscle in her back because it's just been really bothering her, and she effectively couldn't do a whole lot, and she was actually having to do stuff for her job from home this week, so it's been pretty rough on her. And in the meantime, I've been taking care of her and helping her out to the best of my ability. Let's get this party started, though. Hello, everyone. Let me do this. Uh-oh. Hold on, chat. My bot's not working. Also, I am noticing we're having a little bit of internet issues today, so hopefully stream's good. If not, it is what it is. Uptown Funky. Wombat, thank you for this prime. I appreciate it. 26, check, we get some love for Wombat. Did everybody get to watch all the Gamescom stuff? And what did you guys think about it? What's the big thing from all of that you guys are looking forward to? Okay. If my bot is working again, there we go. Hello, FK. I believe it should be working for the YouTube crowd as well, but I currently cannot see them until they actually start typing. Hello, Zervis. Hello, Yugi. It had games, yes. Didn't know what happened. Yeah, they did. Jeff Keighley, who does the Summer Game Showcase and the Game Awards, has started to do Gamescom over the past couple years. You guys know, I'm really not a fan of him. He's really just kind of an insufferable asshole, but it is what it is. At the same time, I can at least laud him for making a bigger deal of the whole like gaming news circuit and actually providing us with a popularized, centralized like way to deliver announcements and stuff for the game companies, because otherwise these game companies would just do it all themselves, all on their own. You would never hear about things. Things would not be aggregated, and it would be really freaking annoying. So wish E3 was around instead. Yeah, I agree with that. But in the absence of it, I am okay with that. Like, we need something, right? So at that point, I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. Also, I think my capture card's a little fucky. Hold on. It feels like it's not full screen. Make sure it's working. I was live at Gamescom opening night. It was kind of okay. Not the biggest news, but still fine. That's what I was kind of talking with them about, because Prophet was asking me, am I going to go over like all the Gamescom news with you guys here? And I was like, I don't really feel like I need to. There was not, like, most of the stuff was just new trailers for things that we already knew about. And all in all, there were some things that were hype, but there were also some things that I'm just like, eh. So I didn't feel like it was enough where we needed to actually like sit down and do a deep dive with you guys. LeBron campaigns next week. Yeah, we got to talk about that. As you guys know, AnimeNYC, they did a panel and announced that we are getting the GSSR coming to NA early. I'm A-okay with that. Definitely foils my plans to make a video for it, though, but it is what it is. I will say that it's interesting to me because last year I kind of gave the NA Aniplex staff a pass due to the fact that AnimeNYC changed dates. And so that you guys are aware what that meant. AnimeNYC used to run in like November every single year, and they moved it forward to like August. And so that kind of happened last second. They all had to scramble to change their stuff. And we weren't even sure they were going to be there. I had some friends that were up at AnimeNYC, and I told them, like, hey, if you guys see FGO up there, if you see Albert up there, you know, ask him some questions for me and stuff like that. And it's a real sad disappointment that, at least for this time, none of this was publicized. None of this was talked about. In fact, I knew somebody at AnimeNYC, and he didn't even think there was an Aniplex panel there this year. So they've got to do a better job marketing. I don't know what the heck is going on with them. I don't know what they spend their marketing budget on, but it is not outreach, that's for sure. They are not making themselves visible to the world when even some of the biggest players and fans of their game don't even know they're gonna be at a convention. You have problems. That's not a good thing. Again, I'm going to say this is no ill will towards anybody in the actual marketing department, but whoever is heading this up and making these decisions probably does need to be fired. It's just a little bit ridiculous that we don't actually have a better, more like responsive staff when it comes to letting people know what's going on in the game on social media, operating things like the Discord and stuff for us, which is we know is outsourced, but then also for bigger things that are actual game announcements, you don't even let anyone know that you're going to be making an announcement. Nobody knew you guys were even going to be there because there was no slated FGO panel at the convention. And that's a problem. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I gave them a pass last year because things switched over on them, and I knew they probably didn't have time to market it and advertise it. But the fact that they didn't do it at all this year is kind of just crazy. And I get that AnimeNYC is probably not happening at the biggest time of year for them, so it's not that big of a deal. But then they need to start looking at alternatives and going to a different one. I know AnimeNYC is a big one, but I agree. If it's not at the time of year that you guys need to go to make a big announcement, don't freaking go to it. Don't waste the marketing budget on it or the travel budget or whatever the heck budget you have for doing this stuff. Instead, try to find a convention that's at an appropriate time for you to make these announcements. Go to that instead. Or, again, ask the community what conventions they would like to see you at, and you might get some resounding answers. Like, literally do a poll and ask people, what conventions do you attend? And it might actually get them some real numbers. Music's very loud compared to me. Well, that was turned down a little bit, but shouldn't be very loud compared to me. Let me check the sliders. It do be a little loud. Alright, should be good. Yeah, I don't know why it was that loud. Only cons in New York and California can be mentioned. Yeah, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This has been a long-standing complaint of mine. I truly don't have it out for the Aniplex of America staff. But, this is a strong but here. There is 100% a West Coast bias to the game and the developers that run it. I understand why. They're located on the West Coast. Then you go to Anime Expo, and you go nowhere else other than AnimeNYC. That's it. That's all you do. And now even AnimeNYC seems like it's an afterthought. So I politely would like to object and ask the developers, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're not trying anymore. Maybe you don't have the budget. I don't know. I'm not a fly on the wall. I'm not behind the scenes. I don't get it. But from a content creator for the game, from an outsider trying to look in, it just seems like nothing's going on, and like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and vice versa. So it's not a good look, and it definitely is upsetting to me. But at least for this, we are getting something good out of it, and I am A-okay with that. I definitely like the fact that we are going to be getting the GSSR early. Like I said, GSSRs are always nice. It's just, the faster they get them to you, the faster they're in the hands of players, so they don't have to wait on it too much. This does give people less time to decide, but it is what it is. And the core of my complaining here is coming from a point of concern, both as a fan of the game and a content creator for it. I love FGO. It's one of my favorite games of all time at this point. I have played it for years. God, I don't even want to think about how many hours at this point. But I really just want to see them do a little bit better on some of the stuff. I don't know why your message got censored in P, but Twitch, I guess, tried to detect that you were saying a bad word, but there was nothing bad in what you were saying. Yeah, sorry, not the GSSR, the selector ticket. I keep saying it wrong. You are correct, chat. I have a bad tendency to substitute GSSR with selector. But yeah, I really want them to do better. I've been waiting for years for this. If they want FGO to prosper, especially over here on like in America, on the west side of things, they need to actually do something. And it feels like they don't do jack shit most of the time. And like I said, it's probably a budgeting issue. They probably don't get anything from their Japanese overlords, but I would hope that they actually are trying. I would just like to see some kind of sign that they are. And at the current point in time, I don't really feel like the NA side of things has done much in the way of marketing outside of, like, yes, they go to Anime Expo and AnimeNYC, but it's like, I think you have to go all the way back to when they did FGO Tour, like the FGO USA Tour. That's the last time I can remember the marketing campaign actually doing something for FGO, them actually trying to do something beyond their normal shtick. So that's where I'm at this point. Do a panel in a FloridaCon? I would love to. I'd love to cover it. I know we have MegaCon in like February, so that'd probably be good for, I don't know, maybe like a Chaldea Boys announcement or something, but that's not too big. It's probably too late for Valentine's Day. So it is what it is. I love another world tour. People actually turned up, at least in Los Angeles, right? And that's what I'm trying to say is like maybe they didn't like the numbers there or something, but holy shit, it's been forever. Like, do something. I feel like the NA staff aren't trying at all. Yeah. It does feel like that at times. Off topic, any opinions on Bleach music? I love it. Big country in between New York and Cali, right? And especially, and I want to say this, it's a lot better when you advertise that you're gonna go and you make it known so that people have time to like buy tickets and like get to the locations rather than like saying nothing and then when no one shows up to the panel you're like, why did no one show up? Of course no one showed up. No one knew you were gonna be there. Like I said, there wasn't even a clear communication that there was an an Aniplex thing there this weekend. So that's like actually insane to me. The NA staff blew their entire promo budget on that one anniversary trip to Japan. I do agree with that. I think that historically that has been a thing, and I wonder if that's what's going on behind the scenes. And I just want to say this. Well, I do think it's cool that the NA staff gets to go to Japan and like fly out and like actually talk to the real staff, frankly, on that stuff. Like, I feel like that should not come out of their budget. If that is where their budget's actually getting spent, ooh, that's something as like Aniplex that I would put a stop to. I would be like, no, you need to be spending your budget on actual marketing. On actual, like, travel to places. FGO-NA is 10 next year. Yeah. Okay. JP's already done. Yeah, JP is pretty much just keep playing the event until I'm finished with it, which actually, let's double check here. I have no idea where I'm at currently. Not sure why they have a marketer in the first place. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the girl that they have for marketing that I've seen occasionally, she seems like she's a nice person, but I truly, like, just don't know what she's doing. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to, like, attack her. She's the only person that we know about. But I also, like, question, like, how much funding does she actually even have to do anything? Like, what's actually going on there, is my question. That's going to spend one of my tickets if I do that, so we're not going to do that. Which of these is most imperative? I think we're just going to go ahead and take this, and yep. Is that using... Yeah, that's using all three, so fuck it. We're doing it. Fuck it, we do it live. I know they advertise on Twitter, Facebook, and Google AdSense several types and other things. Yeah, I mean, Google AdSense does jack shit. Nobody actually looks at that. Twitter... I'll be honest, they don't do nearly enough on Twitter. Because Twitter is like a post usually when the event goes live or when a banner goes live, and even then there's times where it's like after the fact. Historically, they've been very bad about Twitter. I will agree that lately they've been better. Facebook, I truly don't know. I don't use Facebook. So for me, it's like, yeah, that feels like that's all they're doing. I've had people say over the years that they occasionally do get YouTube ads, but it is what it is. They buy ads there. I know, but most people don't normally like go to that sort of thing. And that's what I'm saying. So like if you're saying that they're buying ads on Google AdSense to premiere on YouTube or something, sure. But I'm also going to say like it's rare that we even see an ad for the game on YouTube. And yes, for those of you guys that haven't heard, Dolly Parton unfortunately passed away. Who? You don't know who Dolly Parton is? Bad for passing, yeah. Dolly Parton was someone that was pretty much universally liked. She was one. She definitely was. She was a very philanthropic country singer from back during the like. I'd say her real prominent times were like what, like the 70s and 80s. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not super familiar with her music or anything like that, but even I've heard of her as a like pretty much world-renowned good person. I don't need those. So, how bad am I on my statues? A couple of these I'm a little low on, but it's really, like, that's actually insane. How am I down to 75 writer statues? But yeah, I will convert that up to gold. And then what I'm gonna do... Oh, no, not that. We're gonna go into here, we're gonna change. Get that out. Shimata. I do not have another gold. Like, I have that, but that's it. And I suspect it's probably better to just run double bronze if that's the case. Buys the stuff in supermarkets, yes. When I came to Erskine and asked who could redeem humanity, it'd be her. Yeah, like pretty much. This is like a I saw literally like someone was making light of the situation by but also like making a grim joke by saying one of the last universally loved people, one of the last universally loved humans has died. And it's like, oh no. It's like it's not wrong. Actually, if that's the case, then I don't need MASH in the back line. So I can fit someone up to 3-star. Is there anyone here I actually want to bond? Do I have... So he's limited. Do I have Ezo on my JP? I do. Yeah, let's bond Ezo and get limited coins if I do that. With their book initiatives, yeah. Still pulling for Seal and failing? Oof. How am I enjoying OC3 so far? I'm gonna be honest, while I like the greater story of OC3 as a whole, I was not enthusiastic with reading it the other day. It just feels like it's very drawn out for no big reason. Wait. Oh my god, we have 7 days left, chat. Has everyone finished summer? Long ago, okay. There's only a week left of summer, chat. Quick. I had to make sure I was done with it myself. I haven't looked at it in so long. Some people haven't. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I have 36 days remaining. We are only in section 7. But yeah, I do feel like this shit is just dragging on and taking forever. So we're gonna get to reading this. I'm gonna make you guys a promise that I will stream me doing the story here for you guys the next 2 days if you guys continue to watch. My viewership was not too great on Friday, and everyone kind of bailed. And it's fine, I get it, it's a Friday, it's not a big deal, and I haven't streamed too much on Fridays. But if people stop watching when I'm doing story, I'm not really incentivized to do FGO story on stream, if that's the case. And I know some people want to watch me do it, but if the rest of the people bail, it doesn't feel like it's worth it. But, and the reason I'm saying that's because Thursday I'm probably going to be playing Zero Company with you guys. I have a favorite part, but you're nowhere near it. Yeah. Like I said, it's not great. Oh, Zero Company lets you name people after chat to kill off. Why would I kill off my chatters? Please select one of the following servants as a starting member. But I don't wanna. I also don't remember what the heck I'm facing. Manual setup, go! Wait, no. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. Confirm! Oh look, it's mostly Saberfaces. Yeah, you know what? We'll leave Nikitich. She's at least counter class. Let's throw in Walter. Why not? And just in the off chance, we're gonna give her that. And it will be what it will be. Your company, yeah. So I saw somebody, because like everyone said that that, you know, it's Star Wars XCOM, and I'm like, you realize that the abbreviation is ZCOM, and I'm like, that can't be a coincidence. I don't think so, Michael Bublé. We're turning sound on. Also, let me know if this gets too loud, but it shouldn't be. I volunteers tribute, yeah. I mean, maybe if you make a really trolly song request instead, I will put you up as fodder. But I know, like, in the same thing with XCOM, the little bits that I've played of it, I know at least enough to know that you don't want your people to die, because then you have to retrain new people. It's the same thing as, like, being a boss IRL. It's like, oh, you don't want to have to hire new people because it's annoying to do so. You would rather continue with your existing people as long as they do their job. If I get GTA 6 from someone, am I going to stream it? If I get GTA 6 provided to me somehow, either by, like, key, which is almost guaranteed not to happen, or from, like, somebody gifting it to me, yeah, I would play it. My god. Moon Archers. Why are they so badass? Okay, Walter, do your shit. Hello, Aniko. Tough time figuring out where my Saint Courts are going towards this upcoming rotational banner. Really depends. Really depends on who you have and who you need. Star Wars X Fire Emblem, gotcha. I would love that, actually. I feel like that'd be really cool. And I was thinking about that while we were playing games, or watching Gamescom, that, like, there's so many games nowadays, because Trub's made this point, and he's absolutely right, that just, there's no originality in them anymore. Everyone's just playing it safe by being like, okay, we have this IP that is famous for this game type. What do we do to grow the IP? I know, even though there's this IP over here that is famous for this game type, we're just going to make their game type now. Like, for instance, there was an XCOM-like game that premiered at Gamescom that was literally just Rainbow Six as an XCOM-style game, which it actually is a decent idea, right? But, like, I realized it's like, yeah, they're just ripping off this idea. Same thing, and I hate to say this, but, like, I saw a lot of people cheering for the Hoyoverse games, and I'm sure if you like Hoyo, you're probably ecstatic for it. But for me, I looked at that, I was like, man, Hoyoverse just cannot have original ideas. Everything that they do is derivative of other game companies. It's like they literally basically copied Elden Ring and then copied, oh shit, what's the, what's the Nintendo game? Where it's like the people and they're building, and you have an island, and Animal Crossing. Thank you. Yes. God, my brain just could not get there. So, like, literally, that was their other game, was an Animal Crossing copy, and I was like, do you guys know, like, come up with any original game anymore? No. You want a Star Wars Predatory Gotcha? That exists. It's Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And, like, I'm not even kidding you. That is a thing. And this is my proof to you guys that as much as I love Star Wars, I don't like gacha games. And I think that for some reason this is upsetting to people sometimes when I criticize other gacha games, because they think that I'm just being a hater, and I'm like, no, I am, right? But it's like, I don't like gacha games. I like FGO. FGO is cool because FGO has a lot of story. But that still doesn't make me, like, want to play other gacha games, just because I like one. We're gonna split. We'll do that. Most of these Chinese game developers just seem to copy other games. Yeah, I'm not gonna say they don't do their own interesting stuff, but it feels like they largely take the idea that was already, like, figured out by somebody else. I wouldn't play Galaxy Heroes either, yeah. It's between Jalter, Nero Bride, and Gil. I want to come away with one of them. I mean, out of those, Nero Bride at least has some flexibility as a, like, unit that can also be a support. Gil is just your standard strong AoE archer. He's good at what he does. Those are Tamitomo mobile fighters. And, Jalter is just, like, Jalter is still, to this day, one of the premier, like, Avengers. So, it's like, if you need an Avenger, that's exactly what she's good for. She's good for carding hard, critting hard, just in general, being high damage, even if it's neutral. So it is what it is. But, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, you're just gonna have to pick something that you want and kind of make a choice. And if you have some leftovers, then maybe you can stack more, but it is what it is. She has more to offer than Scotch, and that's why I like it. I'm not really a gambler. Well, like I've said before, too, I do, in general, like the story. But, like, for instance, my big complaint so far with OC3 is that OC3 is padded to all hell. I can already tell it. I'm only in Section 7, but I can tell just how long it's taking me to get through things. Like, for instance, we spent the majority of the prior stream doing OC3, and I literally went from Section, like, 5 to Section 7. I did not get very far. Oh, Moon Elemental. Metzilpan. I can't pronounce that. Metzilpan. Whatever. Nearbright's also good support for Saber Grand Duels. Yeah, and that's definitely something to think about, but also keep in mind that the Grand Duels are kind of a one-and-done thing. Like, you do them, you may farm them a little bit, but ultimately, it's not something that you guys need to, like, roll or grail specifically for. I wonder if they sponsored or something. I don't think it's that they sponsored it. I think it's, in general, our summer events are... Wait, did she call her a slut? Yeah, she did. You city slut. It's usually for the summer events they get their inspiration from going on vacation somewhere, and they clearly went to Dubai. A lot of moon bunnies. I will need flying units for this? Well, fuck me. Is it the same water mechanic as LB7? But yeah, this does make me wish that I had done it at the same time. I don't remember if she's actually considered levitating in her third form. Show me the disambiguation. Because her third form, she's absolutely levitating, but I don't know if she has the trait. Stage 3, she has the bunny trait. She does not have levitating. Fuck. Oh, space flight trait. Oh, okay. Well, fuck it. I'm screwed. I don't have anyone that has that. Or do I? Let me see. I know BB Dubai has it. So I'll see. Space flightable. Okay, I actually do have some Saberfaces that have that. Yep. So it is, in general, the X series. Where's the X series? There is the X series. Is Mixa my only other one? Okay, no. I was about to say. Yeah, because I didn't want to have to use Mixa just because she's AoE. Alright. Now... Un segundo, por favor. I just gotta remember if she has, like, Invuln Pierce or anything. She does! She really, really does. Okay. Fudge Nugget. So then probably the only thing I can do is Annie Blonde. Yeah, when are we gonna get a new version of Annie Blonde? Hello, Robo. How's it going? I just tanked the stun Johanna for the win. Yeah. Okay, one of you is not like the others. We're gonna manipulate the stars. It's pretty much my best case scenario. Your Storm Pod consumption's on. I'm aware. I leave it on. Yeah, it's... I do not like min-maxing my Storm Pods. Storm Pods are one of the most annoying mechanics of the game. I did min-max them for years on both servers. I am very happy that NA got the quality of life early so that I don't have to anymore. I am done with that shit. I am never doing it again. Because, like, for instance, I took it to such a degree on JP when it was a thing. Most other people did not. And that's partly what burned me out on it. So wait, I just had to break the bar? Oh, well that was easy. You think you've won? Yes. Yes, I do. Meat being cut with a chainsaw. Also, I hope chat can't hear my crunching, but I'm gonna attempt to eat. Sure. Got a farm present, so I don't have a choice. Yeah, it's all good. Uh-oh. I was wondering where we were gonna see her. Hmm. I'm gonna assume this is still a space flightable issue. Nope. Need the CE that I require. We're literally gonna go with the exact same lineup. My brain keep hurting. Wait, hold on. I noticed something. Oh, because it's not... I keep forgetting I have a, low-level single copy of Castoria Berserker. That was the 6th copy that I got because of a double. Ah! There's no way... Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, sorry. I did put that in the stream title. Thank you. I knew there was a reason everyone kept saying that for me. Let me change that. Yeah, I missed that too. It was one of those deals of like, I had done it wrong, and everyone was very kindly reminding me. Goodbye, Seal. Damn, I still didn't get the right cards. Oh well. I got excited for a second. Yeah. Well, to be fair, a selector should be more exciting than a GSSR. Though it does depend. But our selectors are usually free. Okay, so we actually landed the stun. Go for a mighty chain. Yeah, I think the retweet campaign is their way of trying to raise awareness for it. It's their marketing attempt, but to me it's like, not a great marketing attempt. And I'm going to explain why. The problem with trying to market yourself on Twitter is Twitter, like YouTube and a bunch of these other places, is algorithmically generated. You know what's not algorithmically generated? A sign. An advertisement on the side of a bus. Literally, like, things that there is not a factor that can make it so that people don't want to see it. Because so many of these algorithms on social media nowadays are self-reinforcing. So if you're a fan of FGO, you see it. But you want to flaunt the fact that you have a panel at this convention. You want to flaunt the fact that you are giving away an SSR in your gacha game to try to attract new players. If all you do is advertise on YouTube and advertise on Twitter, nobody else is going to see that, because only the people that already like FGO stuff are going to see that shit on YouTube and Twitter. So you don't have the same outreach that you do. And even then, it's difficult, I would say, to grow within your own niche. I'll hold off on that for right this second. My Saberface only? Yep. I am a huge Saberface fan. This is my first time using her NP on this server? Maybe it is. Well, her debut, chat. Oh, come on, I could have taken her game. Servants from outer space, yep. I'm not retreating. That's a retreat. I hope you come to realize your own true feelings as soon as possible. Ah. Hello, Agent. Well, that depends, George. Do you need a single target, like, boss killer? Or do you want someone that can be a decent AoE that can also buff the party? Because if it were me, and I know what I would pick, obviously I'm biased based off of the two servants you're mentioning, but even if I take their names out of that, I do have a natural preference to go more for, like, once I have, like, one or two boss killers in a given class, I have a preference to go for people that are instead gonna give me more capability at farming, and open up, like, new avenues and new niches for that. Hmm. So this is the real reason she's here. Distortion and humanity. I would have said you're not mysterious at all. Damn. Who brought the recipe for homemade curry to the Sapphire Galaxy? Last 3 to 4 were a doozy. Yeah, it's so funny that, like, most of them are just not that difficult in general. But some of them, like, I feel like usually when you start getting to the end of a singularity, the fights start picking up a lot more. Also, I like that it's like, I'm an anti-vampire specialist. I'm like, I believe there's another term for that, but sure. Who is good with Reshkagal in the Grand Lancer battle? Grand Lancer, you're going to want a strong single target and a strong AoE. My understanding was that most people were using Shisho as their single target. And for AoE, they were either trying to get away with Melisson, which, if I remember correctly, did not work so well for that. Artoria Lancer and Ereshkigal, I think, were the other two. Artoria is my grand on JP, but NA will be low. Interesting. Oh! Lancer would be the most annoying raid for you. Lancer, just in general, was one of the most annoying ones. Like, Lancer and Rider were probably the two worst, in my opinion. I couldn't, like, clear the Archer one, but the Archer one was just literally, like, double MP with Squirtoria and I was done. So I didn't feel like it was appreciably hard. There was nothing problematic about the fight if I didn't one-shot it. What about Extra? Extra! I mean, you guys saw how I handled Extra. I basically bunny crit it to death. And there's some hilarious shit you can do with that. You want a decent AoE to be able to handle the, like, side ads, and then you follow up the AoE MP with a nuke from the single target. Otherwise, the main Indra does not take enough damage. She was blonde, she had red eyes, and she was terrifying but beautiful. Yeah, it's Gym Guy. What about support? Because my AoE is a 50% charger, I didn't have to care too much about charge. I seem to remember I used... I'm pretty sure I used OG Ellie, because she buffs all females by 40% attack. And then I think I did... Mary Anning, because Mary Anning also buffs Lancers. Well, females, I believe. Granted, the ideal comp was basically double Lartoria, because that, the Grand Lancer duel happens after Lartoria's buff. So double Lartoria just shits on things, and it's hilarious. But you can only do that if Lartoria herself is your Grand, and you have somebody strong enough to do it. Otherwise, then what you can do is, again, like do like Lartoria with a Reshkagal or something. Just keep in mind that in order to get a Reshkagal's buffs, you're going to have to NP with her. Do you think a Reshkagal at MP2 and Kido at MP1 will do for Grand Lancer battle? No. I do not believe that will kill. I know it was exceedingly hard for most people to one-shot. And by one-shot, I mean like one turn. Indra. And like I said, the only way I pulled it off was with Lartoria, Ellie, Mary Anning, and I think so Lartoria was my Grand, and then I used a Grand, I think NP4 and NP5 Shisho was strong enough to kill it. in one shot. Otherwise, you're looking at potentially multiple turns. Because, like, remember, Enkidu does not have extra damage against Divine. Enkidu just stuns Divine. And unfortunately, Indra is unstunnable. Branch that grew close to the trunk of official history but still deviated. Even prospered more than yours did. Its history came to an end for that very reason. All these ephemeral branches, Asperus branches. I actually really like this. Because man, is this a relevant thing in today's day and age. I'm not going to make a political statement or something here, but I do feel like some people just want to progress for the sake of progression. And they forget that, like, if you progress blindly, you'll just end up trampling over everyone and killing everyone. So it's like, oh, their world prospered more than yours did. Yeah. Everyone turned into robots and humanity died. So it did prosper until it didn't. Basically, they moved a lot faster, and because of that, they moved carelessly. Worth. I guess you're into that, right? I just realized that I wanted to go back and reread that, because, like, I don't feel like I read that completely. The underworld losing meaning even in its name. Interesting. Ah, so that's why she became a beast. So we're literally getting backstory on Ereshkigal right here. Indra is not considered male. Yeah, Indra was a big, like, kick in the nuts for multiple reasons. Let me see if I can find him real fast. He is gender unknown, which I frankly call bullshit, because the big reason for this is this and this, not the fact that he's a god. Because there are plenty of gods that are gendered. So, it's like, what the heck? Like, don't do gender unknown, do both male and female, or something like that, so that it applies to both. It's divine spirit, divinity, so again, anti-divine is useful to some degree, but like I said, Enkidu doesn't stun. Group servanoid, humanoid... Immune to Pigify, Sovereign, Loved One. So, Bryn can do some work against him. Riding, Servant, 7 Nights, Servant, weak to AnimeNYC. Yeah, there's really, like, there's nothing here to exploit. It's basically Divinity, Loved One. Technically, I believe, is it Breedomart that does writing, or I don't know, one of them does it. It's either Breedomart or Bradamante, I can't remember which. But yeah, so it's like, there's just really not a whole lot there. Anti-Sky, Anti-Divine, yep. Okay. So basically, she became a beast because she loved humanity and didn't want to see them suffer with immortality. I'm jumping the shark right here straight to the end, chat. And I'm telling you that's going to be the entire reason why Arushka Gull's doing it. At that point, I just get a Grand Shisho to one-shot him, 100%. That's, like I said, most people just use Shisho. Because, again, Bryn would have been a really good option, but I think a lot of people didn't have Bryn. Whereas in P5, Shisho was a much more common thing on JP. Also, chat, I just wanted to point this out. I don't think it's sandworm hunting when these things are literally mechanical excavators. The moon, I mean the meat. Yep. Makes sense. And yet we only get one ascension? Yeah. Love affairs? Oh boy. This is literally suddenly wyverns. Like, there's no actual reason for us to fight here. But yeah, I actually, at this point, I really don't know why they don't just go all out and... Okay, I'm stuck here, it looks like. I really don't know why they don't just go all out and, like, actually, like, give welfares, like, their full Ascension packet and everything. I get it, it was a decision made to cut down on costs, but... To me, it feels so bad, and it feels like an easy win. Yeah, whatever, we'll just leave it like that. Worms need killing, Cad. Well, let me get some horse dewormer. Steel glasses or no? Decide. I'm impartial to this. I could go with either. The horse dewormer is apple flavored? Maybe, I don't know. You have to decide in the OG visual novel? Do you really? Interesting. That I didn't realize. Guys, you talked about GSSR already. Is it written somewhere? Sorry, it's not a GSSR. I named the stream wrong. Forgive me on that. It is a selector. I have a nasty tendency of swapping the two in my brain. But no, I have not talked about it yet. We can pull it up here in a second. When we get done with Lace Sandworm. Chat, does anyone remember the specific JP campaign that it came from? Like, it was part of the, is it 25 million downloads? I think? Is it 30? Okay, thank you. Yeah, fandom? You were running slow. Give it up, nerd. They're really nihilistic. I don't know that nihilistic is the correct word there. Because nihilistic is like when you don't care about anything and everything. You truly believe that nothing has a point. And it's like you're doing it all for Astolfo. Doc Embers to finish my Grand Rider leveling. Feels amazing. Oh. Okay, so we were forced into that. Oh, you're trying to slap a Durga into my background. What if instead I slap La Morgane? She really is becoming my Swiss Army knife at this point. Wait. I don't know why I was thinking I already used Ocean Flyer. Okay. So, chat, here is the campaign the way it was on JP. And I believe, if memory serves, we are getting 30 more quartz than JP got. So, in order to permanently acquire these units, you have to have cleared Orleans. This is not just Fuyuki required, so keep that in mind. The permanent acquisition duration is October 6th, which, as we know, is going to be moved up. So it looks like it lasted roughly 2 months, a little bit under that. You have to reach level 60 for the selected servant during that time, and reach bond level 5 in order to make them permanent. And it's just sent to your present box if you've already cleared Orleans. They cannot be used to upgrade in P level while they are in a temporary state. Okay, so this is somewhat significant, so you guys do need to pay attention. The way that this is talking, it means that, again, you have to make them permanent before you can combine them. So, if you're selecting somebody that is already Bond 5 and level 60, they will immediately be permanent and you're good. Can't be used as experience fodder nor burnt for rare prisms. The same ID as an existing servant already owned by the player. It will have the same bond level and experience progress as the existing servant. And as they're just saying, you'll get credit for it. And yeah, they're saying just because you already have the servant, even if they're like under level 60 and under bond 5, you still have to meet the permanent acquisition conditions to keep the newly selected servant. So just because you permanently already had one from before doesn't mean you get to keep it if you don't meet those acquisition points. Servant coins for the selected servant will only be awarded when the player switches it to its permanent state. So in other words, you will not get them immediately upon selection, FYI. It's also not eligible for a USO, even if it's the 6th copy or above. And it will not contribute to the counter progress towards that. That's intriguing. So that means that, like, let's say you picked this for someone that you have at NP4. it does not count as the 5th copy, and then even though you could combine it and have it in P5 of the unit, if you then later on got a 6th copy, that would instead count as your 5th copy. Okay? So, let's take a look at these. Most of these are permanent. I do believe there are some story locks. Yes, there is, since I spy Laratoria. You guys know the drill. I've talked about these before. In fact, if memory serves, chat, did I not? I think this is pretty much the same selector that we had recently on NA, just there's a couple additional ones added to it. Like, yes, Odysseus is here. I don't think this is going to impact anyone that is currently present. Kashin Koji's here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much... I don't really need to make a new video for this. This is kind of freaking hilarious. But, ultimately, just out of all of these, I hate to say it, chat, you guys know who to pick if you're going for a Saber. Now let's talk some logic here. How do you pick your unit? Well, there's a couple of ideas. If you're a newer player, you need to probably go with somebody that's going to really help your account. Obviously, you can pick your favorite unit, and if that does factor so much into your enjoyment of the game that, like, you would quit the game if you don't pick them, then go ahead and pick whatever unit you want. But generally, the best advice I can give you guys is to pick the strongest unit for your account. What does that mean? Well, like, for instance, a lot of new players need to start out with things like support casters, especially units like Waver here that could be a 50% charger. They're huge. Most new accounts just need options to help facilitate charging and looping and things like that. So that's where the more options you get and the quicker you get them, the more online your account will become, and the more you'll be able to use even, like, I'm going to say lesser rarity and units that don't have as much charge effectively. So it's a huge force multiplier to get units like that into your account. Looking at this from that perspective, then, we can definitely say that as you go on with time, maybe you have your immediate needs met, like you have a single target and an AoE of every single class. You have a couple of the, like, support casters and supportive units in general. So now you start looking at units that you really want rather than units that you really need. From there, your logic can go one of two ways. My advice would be to pick units that are rare and hard to get normally. That has a tendency to be story locked units. It's much harder for you to find options for them. Story locked units for this in this game may as well just be a actual, like, limited unit. God, my brain was not thinking of the term limited. A limited unit is going to be someone that you're going to have to wait for a devoted banner to roll them on. It's pretty much the same deal with story locked units because you don't actually end up rolling in the story gacha ever, because the story gacha is just terrible. It's not worth it. I don't recommend anyone do this. So, from there, I'm going to go through each one of these classes and give you the advice on who I would pick for given situations. I'm not going to talk about every single unit. I've actually pretty much done that in the prior video. Instead, I am going to talk to you guys about who I feel like would be a good pick based off the current trend of things on NA as well as the current trend of things on JP. So with that and no further ado, we can look at this and say none of these units are story locked. They are all permanent units. Permanent unit, as far as this goes, is nothing special. But we do have some standouts here. Particularly, there's only one single target Saber in this list, and that's Dioscuri. Dioscuri is not the best case for a lot of things. They are single target. Their primary deal is going to be that they have Invuln Pierce, and while they have gotten some upgrades to help their ability to get back to another NP, they're still not the most fluid unit in the game. So, ultimately, they could probably use a little bit of a damage buff, but it is the way it is. As far as our three AoE Sabers, again, they're all permanent here, but there is an easy standout at the current point in time, and that is Artoria. Both currently on NA, she is strong, as well as on JP now, she is pretty much the strongest AoE Saber with the buffs that they have given her. So you really do want to look towards her if you're looking at a Saber, and it will last you very well. And again, it will make for a very strong unit. Now, again, there is some logic as well to maybe shoring up an additional MP level of a unit. Like, let's say instead you had like NP1 of Altera. Well, certainly getting NP2 of Altera will help your guaranteeable like AoE Saber be stronger. Somebody that you know you're going to use a ton. So there is some logic there on that. You don't always have to go with the ones that I'm saying. These are my recommendations for when you guys don't necessarily have a standout. Looking at our archers here, we do have a story locked one at least with Tesla there, and again, I don't remember. I don't think Tametomo is. I think Tametomo's permanent, but basically of these, none of them are really like the top caliber for anything that they do. Only one of them is a single target, and that is Artemis, aka Orion. Orion essentially is in a much better state on JP now than she used to be on NA, but I don't think this is necessarily the best use of your selector ticket unless you just really like Artemis's design. I would tell you, if you need an archer here, it would probably be of the AoE variety, because the stable of AoE archers is just a lot better. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Don't even look at don't even look at Arjuna's way. He's just not really going to be the best option for you. Napoleon's not bad. He's anti-divine. My advice here, Tametomo just desperately needs damage upgrades. He's far, far left behind. So my advice is, if you're going to go for an AoE, it's probably to go for one of these two. And Tesla is both story locked and a little bit better kit-wise comparatively. But Napoleon is going to be someone that you'll maybe have an easier time acquiring more copies of. So that choice can be yours there. Taking a look at the Lancers, there is only one that's a single target here as well, and that's Enkidu. Enkidu is actually still in a pretty decent spot. However, Enkidu has, at one point in time, been at the top of the single target list. Enkidu has fallen back towards more of the middle of the pack a little bit now, as some of the other single target Lancers have finally gotten some buffs, and Enkidu's kit still, despite many buffs to it over the years, is still somewhat clunky. Enkidu specializes in boss killing and like solos and stuff for challenge runs. Enkidu is not going to be that like, hey, you just want to farm with him Lancer all the time. So just keep that in mind, that if you're going for a single target, he's really your only option. He's not a bad option. I definitely do recommend him depending on what you need. But again, kind of similar to our archers, we're probably looking more towards the AoE lineup here if we're trying to look for good quality options. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you guys flat out, Vritra, while she is an AoE arts looper, and that is nice, just finally got her buff on JP. So she's in a much better spot now on JP, but that much better spot is now she's in the running with the middle of the pack of AoE Lancers on JP. Prior to that point, she is pretty much our lowest AoE SSR. At this point, it's not looking great. Bradamonte's gotten a couple buffs. Things are still pretty good for her. Karna's gotten his charge fixed. But I'm going to be real with y'all, and I know this is going to sound biased again, but again, with the current state of NA as well as JP in perspective, Lartorio is who you guys actually want here. She's 50% charger. She can cleanse herself with that charge kill. She has Invuln Pierce on her NP. She has a charisma for the party. And literally, as we move forward, she's already gotten one buff to help pick her up a little bit. As we go forward, prior to the Grand Lancer duel next year, she's going to be getting a stellar buff that helps her buff not only herself, but also any knight of the round that's in the party, including another copy of herself. So this is huge. It's absolutely amazing for what it can do for party buffing, and it definitely transforms her into the highest damage AoE Lancer. So this is why I keep saying it. This is probably who you're going to want to go with. Also, cherry on top, she is story locked for those of you that are caring about that. Our writers are a whole lot to talk about. And part of the reason is because there's a lot of really good characters here. There's a lot of ones that I would tell you that maybe you just don't need to care too much about. So pretty much all of these characters have their merits. There's no one here that's actually truly terrible, but my advice for you guys is if you're going to go for a single target, go for Ozzy. He is still phenomenal. He doesn't have as much niche damage as Mabe over there on the end, and he doesn't have as much loopability as Nemo does. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm going to say Ozzy brings a couple things to the forefront. He's stellar single target damage. He NP seals with his NP. He charges the party. He adds buff success support, and literally is an emperor, so he also has the ability to heal himself and further buff his own damage. So at the end of the day, Ozzy is, at least currently on NA, pretty much our best consistent single target rider. He just finally got beat out by Maid Alter on the JP side of things, with her finally getting that buff. So he definitely is going to age quite well, and he still kind of has just been always a favorite of the developers, it feels like, over the years. As for AoEs, we start getting a little bit more picky as to what you want. I think of this category, you have Odysseus, who is an AoE arts looper. He definitely removes buffs from the enemy, defensive buffs from the enemy, so that he can pierce them, and that's going to make him hard to stop in a challenge environment, but his damage is not altogether the best. Drake is sort of just your standard buster AoE rider. She's who I would probably go with over Europa. Europa has a little bit more challenge concerns, but the damage is just not there. Drake's going to be your standard buster AoE that has 50% charge and has stellar card performance and has invuln pierce. She's very solid in that regard. But really big shout out over here to our man Taigong Wang, who has himself charge and is a 50% charger himself, but also can charge the party, is a little bit of a party like hybrid support. So he's definitely got really solid niches. He's got really solid a really solid kit and capability. So to me, it's probably a toss-up, probably between Drake and Taigong Wang for who you want. Do you want a more selfish, buster-oriented AoE, or do you want a quick, party-oriented that still can do decent niche damage AoE with Taigong Wang? Looking at our casters here, again, we have already mentioned these two should be at the forefront pretty much of a lot of people's selector tickets. If you're newer to the game, Waver is absolutely fantastic. He now has a buff on JP that gives him overcharge as well, so that definitely helps out with certain characters like the Saberfaces and being able to refund, but also just any unit that has overcharge that increases their damage capability. Waver can be really solid. He's a 50% charge support unit, so that means he can give the charge to other units. Very, very good, very, very helpful. Tamamo is definitely falling a little bit behind in the support race, but still is very strong as a go-to. She's permanent, so you should be able to acquire more copies of her at different points. But she has arts up, she has healing, she has cooldown reduction for skills whenever she NPs. And that's a huge one for her, as she can make teams stall, she can make teams, and when I say stall, I mean like stall the enemy. She can make teams kind of have that sustain and being able to survive for longer periods of time. And that cooldown reduction means that the party's kits are going to be coming back faster, and you're going to want to pair her alongside other arts units. So she's also a bit of a niche support, but still really, really good, especially for a new account in certain scenarios. As for our other three casters here, to me, I wouldn't really recommend going for our AoEs. Neither of them are god-awful anymore. They both have received buffs and do at least have some capability. But I'm going to tell you to go look at your like welfare units and stuff at that point. San Zhang's probably the only real standout as a single target caster, and there's a whole lot of single target berserkers and even alter egos that can rival her at this point. But she is just very solid as single target buster, 80% charge, plus having her mana loading append unlocked and maxed out would mean that she can go 0 to 100 in one turn. So that does make her very, very valuable as a caster, but it's up to you to determine if that's something you need. Maybe you guys have a really robust Cersei or someone waiting in the wings, so it just is the way it is. Looking at the assassins are usually not my first choice for any of these selector tickets. For whatever reason, the permanent pool for assassins is altogether not too great. Jack is definitely your stereotypical single target assassin and still can do decent damage. She's anti-female, she generates a shit ton of stars, and she has a hard survivability. Asaka Hime is a little bit of a really off meta support at this point. You can use her, but she's not the best really at anything that she does. She does have the ability to buff strip, but ultimately she's not going to be too much in the supportive capacity in her own right. Kashin Koji's honestly not that great of AoE damage, and I'd say Old Man Lee rounding out here as at least a hard-hitting single-target arts assassin, but unfortunately his skill turn durations are really only one turn, so kind of just a similar deal here. I'd probably go with one of the two single targets if I had to pick one here, but ultimately I would not pick a assassin with the selector ticket. Looking at our berserkers, our situations are a little bit improved. Unfortunately, Xiang Yu, still with all of his buffs, still not really getting a whole lot of stuff going there. He could be an AoE, but he basically is your only AoE option here. I just wouldn't take it. I'd try to make do with lower stars and try to wait and hope that you get somebody else. Vlad and Galatea are both single target arts. They're definitely pretty solid in their own right. Vlad, at the current point in time, is a little bit of an edge, but ultimately, at this point, we should probably be talking about Ku. He's the monster in the room at this point because he is nigh unkillable. He does very solid damage, and JP just buffed him again to make him do even more. His damage is actually pretty monstrous at this point. If we're looking for a really off-meta pick here, we'd be looking at Nightingale. She is a support berserker that gives 50% buster up. She gives debuff immunity and death immunity to her ally, but ultimately, at the end of the day, she's not someone that I recommend seeking out and picking. Rulers, John is in an okay state. She does need a buff still, in my opinion. I probably would not pick her here unless you're just a really huge fan of her from the animes. Nitocris Alter is at least a 100% charging AoE death machine, so she's decent for farming. Damage output's ultimately not the best unless you have her niches in play, but still, you can get some decent work out of her. Her design's absolutely amazing, so I don't fault anyone for picking her. Janako is a unit that for, I'm going to say years, just was one that I would tell most people not to pick. She is permanent. She was put into the game to be a permanent moon cancer because there were no permanent moon cancers at the time. And frankly, when she first comes out, she is not good. And not in the sense that she's unusable, just not good in the sense of all of her numbers are low, all of her values are low. She doesn't really have a niche, and she's not the best at anything that she does. That is to say, every single thing that Janako could do, somebody else could do better. But Janako has found a little bit of a niche, at least in being very tanky, being very survivable, as well as being able to provide the lawful niche, anti-lawful niche, to her allies. So that is something that can be useful to have. I know there's been several times that we've been plotting things out for a lotto composition, and Janako ends up being the solution. Hilariously, my NA account still does not have Janako, so maybe this is who I pick. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll think about it. It's definitely an interesting one. I'm not saying that you guys need to pick her or anything like that. This is a really far down the list sort of choice if you do. But ultimately, it can be an option for you. Seatonai to me just needs an upgrade at this point. Her damage values are just wholly left behind by the likes of Melt. They've definitely got to do something because she doesn't really have a good way of standing out at this point, especially since her niche is relatively useless. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I wouldn't recommend picking Seatonai either. So in summary, where I would focus on is probably Artoria, probably Lartoria, probably Ozzy, Taigong Wang, Waver and Tamamo, Sanzang, Ku, And that's pretty much it. Those are the ones that stand out for gameplay purposes in my mind right now. Would you suggest NP2 Ozzy or NP2 Coalter? Thoughts? Just keep in mind Ozzy is a writer, so he's a little bit limiting himself. Coalter has complete upside there. The only downside is simply that he does not have his buff currently, and it's 2 years until he gets it. I defeated Ort for me? Good. Kurili is the best choice in Zerkers. Yeah, unfortunately, our permanent Zerker lineup is just not the greatest here. It's very sad. They need to make like a story-locked Zerker besides Coalter that just is actually like... I don't know, like an AoE or something. Lartoria is probably my pick at this point. Lartoria's stock has risen a metric shit ton. Like Lartoria and Artoria. The difference is Artoria has been gettable from other selectors. Lartoria has only been able to be gotten from these selectors where they allow the story locked ones. So to me, that does make her one of the top picks from this. But ultimately, it just depends on like what it is that you're trying to do. Oh, I see. This is going to be a job for Lartoria. Speak of the devil. And the reason why is because all of you have evasion. Okay, so who's my actual problem here? Lartoria should dispatch Tristan fairly easily. Roland actually like buffer moves. And Bradamante is AoE. Choices. Well, either way, hold on. Let's take a look. They both have 2 left. No matter what I do, somebody getting hit. Now we're going to focus on Britomart because that's just who I'm going to get the most bang for my buck out of. NP2 Lartoria will serve you guys well. I believe in order to clear the AoE stacks, it was taking like an NP2 Grand or an NP3 Grand on the Indra fight. Oh god, I got weight room so freaking hard. Wait, what did you remove? Was it the Star Absorb buff? Okay, we're gonna do that. Actually, I should have inverted those cards, but whatever. The grand battle situation is unfortunate. It's okay. It is what it is. And I'm not saying you guys need to roll specifically for grand battles or something. Like I said, you just may not be as quick at clearing the fights, but it's not the end of the world. It's not like you have to sit there and go ape shit, and if you don't clear the fight in one turn, it's the end of the world. Some of them are a little nasty because they'll like clap you back, but usually you can weather the storm a little bit. Like I remember the Saber one right off the rip was like, oh yeah, she would just occasionally like crit someone to death immediately. The Berserker one was also fairly bad for that. And those were literally the first 2. And I think they started to tone that down. I feel like trying to get Bond 10 for the battle is the most annoying thing. Yes, and that's actually a very good point. You guys really need to be figuring out who you want to be your grands. And if you can, start bonding them, start grailing them, start getting them online. You particularly are going to need Bond 10 to unlock the ability to use a Bond CE in tandem with a normal CE, because that's something that the grand battles allow you to do. Which grand battles are AoE? Well, don't ask me that off the top of my head. Yeah, I mean, like, I've seen people say that Lancer can be single target. I've never seen it. Like, some people, I think what they were doing was just essentially just throwing in like 3 single target Lancers and trying to nuke specifically him. But that does make it a lot harder, and you need very robust ones to do it, if I remember correctly. Mr. Ventos, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? We are in the middle of Ordeal Call 3. I have no idea where you are. Can't stick around for spoilers. It's all good. Guys, if you haven't followed Ventos, go give that man a follow. He's a fantastic FGO streamer himself. He loves Phantom of the Opera, and he himself is doing his own challenge run through OC3 with Phantom of the Opera. Make sure you guys go give that man some love. We are doing our Saberface only run of OC3. It's definitely been interesting so far, especially because there are at least, I'd say, a couple of battles that have some gimmicks, but it hasn't been too difficult yet. But again, I hope you guys have a good one. If you guys need to rest or relax or something, feel free to go grab a drink, get yourself a blanket, get comfy. Like I said, we're just pretty much doing the story the rest of the time. We just finished going over the selector ticket for NA that we'll be getting, I believe, next weekish. Do you need to do anything with the class score system to be able to do the grand battles? It helps to have them like done, Randy, but it's not something that's required. Like in general, the stronger your class score, the more it's going to help you. Most of the class scores I had complete, and the ones that I didn't, ironically enough, I ended up not having that hard of a time with. Like for instance, I hadn't done anything on the assassin class score, but I did the assassin grand duel just fine. And Ventos, thank you for the 21. I appreciate it. Does help a good bit since the grand score buff scale based off your completion. Yep, that's a thing as well. So there's the normal class score and then the grand score on top of that. And the grand score usually has things where it's like depending on the number of units for the class that you've leveled, depending on like how much of the class score for the class you've done, like all of that can actually impact how strong your stuff is. Where are the big unlockers to finish Saber class score? I still got to do my Aqua Olga fight at some point. I don't freaking remember. And chat, do we have Earth Olga on an A yet? I don't believe we do. Next year? Okay, we still got time then. I just need silver statues to finish Saber class score. Pretty sure I have enough of everything else and all requirements met. Nice. Yeah, in general, that sort of stuff, like farming statues, not too bad. It's not the most fun thing to do, but usually you can also get some from things like events and stuff, so. She's waiting for you, Cat, and she can keep spinning out in the Bermuda Triangle. She ain't getting touched until I'm done with story. I gotta catch back up on this stuff. And I, like, real life wise, I'm gonna have a very busy fall here, so we're already coming into like the end of the year's tax deadlines, and then we have holidays. Me and Kiki are gonna be doing some stuff. Like, I know she wants to throw a Halloween party. This upcoming weekend, we are taking my parents out in celebration for their birthdays. We basically gave them a combined gift. And then I have our anniversary trip upcoming that I have to plan. So shit doesn't calm down for me at all. And I'm not saying like we can't do Earth Olga before any of that stuff. Like, we can. It's just like I need story on NA caught up before I ever even consider something like that. Actually, chat, didn't they give us a roadmap for NA? Because I don't remember what the next thing actually is. Is it the moved forward Gouda Gouda? The Khazra drop event? Okay. I highly recommend everybody watch my analysis of Khazra drop. Khazra drop was one of those units where there was a lot of like... How do I put this in a politically correct way? There was a lot of bullshit said about Khazra drop. And it doesn't mean Khazra drop's a bad unit. She's not in the slightest. But I saw some people trying to say that, like, Khazra drop is a replacement for, like, certain supports. And it's like, it's just not true. I don't know why people were spouting that off. Like, the only situation in which that's applicable is if you're doing a, like, Saberface run. People were desperate for a quick savior, and that could be part of it, right? But yeah, I think it's in general, it's like, when you start hearing, like, crap about a unit that's not actually true and people are, like, blowing it out of proportion, it's usually because people want the unit to be big and popular, and so like they're trying to like hype them up overly so much. That's what I'm saying. So, Khazra is a fantastic unit in her own right. She does a lot of really cool stuff, but no, she's not that good in terms of like saying that she's a replacement for people. Khazra is very good, just not account changing. Exactly. And the only reason why I feel the need to expose that is, one, to kind of counter that entire line of reasoning, and two, to allow people to make their own choice that is informed on the subject, whether or not they... Like, I don't want anyone to feel like they have to roll her or anything like that. It's a make a choice, decide for yourself. She's not someone I'm strongly stressing to you guys. Only one missing now is Violet. Yeah, I'm still... Like, again, just going back to summer this year on JP, I'm extremely surprised that we got double King Protea. That's just wild to me. Yeah, this is what I'm worried about with our world. We must never fight humans. In science fiction, this is always the thing. It's like, it's such an obvious thing. Of course you would code an AI not to fight humans. Meanwhile, in our world, we're like, okay, how can we get AI to power our murder, death, kill robots? It's like, wait a minute. All the Sakura 5 in their summer forms except Violet before a single Tamamo 9 match. I don't know what they're doing with that. The only thing I could say, Strom, is that at least at this point they clearly didn't plan for it, but who knows, maybe with a part 3, right? Like, you guys might actually get some more tangible Tamamo content. Needs Asimov anymore. That's one of the things I've been like Kiki likes to read before bed, and I think that I'm gonna start like adopting the same thing as well, because I'm realizing that in a world of AI where we're letting things make decisions for us and we're watching all this short form media content and stuff that's just rotting our brain, it's like I kind of want to go back to the basics. I kind of want to go back to reading and like reading some of these classical tales. Like we actually yesterday night, because she was kind of stuck on the couch with me, we were basically watching The Count of Monte Cristo. And I was sitting there thinking like, yeah, I've never read the book properly. And I know that there are some differences between at least the movie that we watched and the book and the way things turned out. And she was looking it up and she was telling me about it. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. But I realized, like, yeah, I haven't read anything in a long time. Like, not a true book, like a novel, right? And I want to get back to that because I used to do it all the time when I was in high school and even to an extent college, and then it's like at some point I just fell off and I stopped doing it. Was it the Henry Cavill one? Yes, it was. I was like, oh my god, he's in this. What? And it must have been like one of his youngest roles. It was great. I love seeing stuff like that. It's a good but complex read. I think you'd like it. Yeah, that's what she was saying, because I think she had read it a long, long time ago, and she recounted that it was somewhat difficult to read because it allowed, well, it was a good story. It allowed for a lot of characters that you had to keep track of, and it was difficult to make sure you knew who they were talking about. Any value in being human. Yep. I strongly recommend Ivanhoe if you like classics. I think I read Ivanhoe as a kid. I want to say that that's one of the the reasons that I'm such a huge fan of like knights in medieval history. Ivanhoe is a contributing factor alongside the Tales of King Arthur. God, audiobooks have been a major time-saving grace for me. I can't seem to do audiobooks. I don't know why, but it's like, I think it's because I'm very visually dominant. So I also have, so chat, I'm not ADHD, but I do think I'm like right on the cusp where I have this like ability to like laser focus and just tune everything out. I do have that to an extent. And the problem that I've had is like, oh, I'll have an audiobook in, but I'm like doing something instead. Like, let's say it's like, oh, I'm driving and I'm trying to listen to an audiobook. I can't. I'm focused on the road. And I'm like, oh, hold on, let me rewind. I didn't hear that. Oh, hold on, let me rewind. I didn't hear that. Oh, hold on, let me rewind. I didn't hear that. So I think like if I actually sat down and forced myself, I could probably get used to it. But, oh man, I've never been able to get myself to. I could do an audiobook only if I have the book in hand. Interesting. AI is arguing with it. But yeah, like I said, it's just, in general, I realize that we as a species, similar to what's being discussed on screen, are getting dumber. We are not keeping our intelligence factor up, and that's something that I want to keep up. I used to have a very, very good vocabulary, and still to a degree I do. But now when I talk, I can't think of some of these words. If someone says the word to me, I know what it means. But when I talk, I don't use it ever. And I realize that. It's like I'm becoming restrictive. I'm degrading a little bit as I go on. And the only way to keep those things as you get older is you have to keep learning. You have to have that thirst for knowledge. And if you lose that, you... Wait. This is not Saberface only. Hold on, chat. I was like, wait a minute. I think it took my farming team in, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Okay, hold on. Where were we? I mean, that works except for the mash. Oh, have you seen how bad Gen Alpha's math and reading comprehension were fucked? I mean, like, to a degree, and I want to be clear on this. I think there's a lot of doom and gloom on that. Keep in mind something, right? What is technology? Can you define technology for me? Didn't end up with the arts card. Fudge. Sufficiently advanced magic? Yeah, that's, I guess, one definition. Ken, if you haven't already read the Canterbury Tales, you really should. I've seen A Knight's Tale, and I know it's somewhat based off Canterbury Tales, but yeah. Hard to specifically define it, but you know it is when you see it. I'm talking more just the general, like, definition of what technology is. Because to me, technology is some sort of advancement in capability that is designed to help humanity. The AI is technology, right? A toaster is technology. A microwave is technology. Your TV is technology. All of these things are technology. And when you look at that, yes, AI, short form media content, all this stuff is a contributing factor to the newest generation's IQ. The thing is not the newest generation just being efficient? Are they dumber? Objectively. But if you think about it, they're just saying, I don't have to commit these things to memory. I can rely on the technology to handle it for me. In the same way that, chat, you don't go out there and throw your bread in the oven anymore or put it over the fire anymore to toast it. You have a toaster. You have a microwave. You have a TV. Like, you have all of these things that help provide you with entertainment and sustenance and stuff so that you don't have to do those extra steps yourself. They are relying on that. Is that a problem? Well, that's the issue, right? Is it a problem if you allow the technology to take over your whole life? I believe so. At least that's what our current generations are saying. However, who knows what the future holds for them? Maybe we end up in an idiocracy where people are too stupid and can't make decisions for themselves. It's possible. But maybe instead, they become better at making the decisions because that's all they have to do. They don't have to have all the facts and logic of it. They just have to make a choice. So we'll see. As much doom and gloom as it is on one end, it's entirely possible that a different outcome is also true at the same time. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that, like, yeah, I don't truly believe that people are actually somehow stupider. Instead, we just haven't figured out the way to properly, whatchamacallit. What? Oh, nope. Thank you. We just haven't figured out the way to properly model it. Because if technology fails, good luck surviving. That's true. But could not we argue that for us, right? Like, for instance, chat, lose all technology in your life. Could you survive right now? Like, any of you guys. Nuclear winter happens, an EMP goes off, all of your technology is fried. How do you live? Like I said, I don't know that they're in any different scenarios than we are. Maybe they're more helpless. It's possible, but we're all kind of fucked. Hey, I had to generate a map of the US and it named all the states wrong. I mean, that's no different than asking a foreigner, right? Don't worry, we'll eventually end up like people in WALL-E. I actually, like... Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And I think that's the real concern, is not that AI kills us, like that we're gonna have a murder bot uprising of AI that's coming to kill us, right? But instead, that the real problem is that we end up in a scenario where we go out with a whimper and not a bang. That we just get to such a point that we're helpless, feeble idiots. The thing is, and this is something I will say, okay? my experience, and I'm still not someone that's super old, right? But like my experience is that humanity perseveres. Humanity has the ability to adapt itself and improvise and overcome. And that in general, I think people are aware of that helplessness that we have in the face of technology. And that is part of what burns in our soul that makes us strive to make ourselves less helpless. Again, why do I feel the need to read? Right? Why do I feel the need to still learn? Same thing with like people that are like, okay, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna learn how to hunt. I'm gonna learn how to camp and fish and go out there and do all the stuff. So it's like, I believe that there will always be those people and that humanity will not ever be completely fucked. It might be mostly fucked, but I don't believe we'll get to the point where it's like humanity dies out. I think eventually humanity will be like, wait, why are we doing this? We are stupid. Most foreigners know more states than the average American. I don't know about that. That's a pretty dubious claim, but I will say that at the end of the day, I think it just depends on ultimately who you ask. Like, yeah, so you can ask some really stupid people on both sides of the ocean. Like, for instance, can I name every country in Europe? I don't know that I can get them 100% accurate, but I can get pretty damn close.
Montenegro.
Of course, it gives me Montenegro. Shit, I gotta remember this. This is Croatia. Bosnia. That's Albania. Montenegro is small, you're good. Zoom in. I don't know how much I can zoom in. He gave me a bad one right off the rip. That's Greece. That's Macedonia. Romania. No, Bulgaria, Romania. Slovenia. Kosovo, damn it. Wait, where the frickin' hell is Montenegro? I feel like I'm second guessing myself now.
Hungary.
Okay. That should be Hungary. Oh, come on! No. Stop giving me the Eastern European ones. This is Moldova, right? That's Ukraine.
Italy.
Yes.
Monaco.
Monaco.
Serbia.
Yes. Fuck. One of you is Bosnia. The other one is Serbia.
Netherlands. United Kingdom, Estonia.
Latvia. I want to say it's the middle. Damn it. It's Latvia. Is it the north one? It's one of these three, and now I know Latvia is the middle one. I feel like it's got to be the top.
Ukraine.
Okay.
Greece. North Macedonia, Russia, Malta.
Wait, can't. Okay, I was like, hold on, I can't see Malta.
City-state. Kosovo.
Well, we now know which one's Kosovo thanks to that.
Bosnia and Herzegovina. Iceland. Norway. Andorra.
Andorra's here.
Czech Republic. Lithuania.
Wait. What?
Denmark.
God damn it. Sorry, that's an actual like geographical
Poland.
like positioning issue.
Slovakia. Spain. Cyprus. Austria. Belgium. Finland. Belarus. Ireland. Croatia. Latvia. Sweden. Luxembourg. Switzerland. Albania. Germany. Portugal. San Marino. France. Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein.
Slovenia. Romania. Bulgaria.
There you go, chat. Yeah, like dead serious. I'm very good usually with the locations. I know roughly where everywhere in the world is to an extent. They're like, and I'm gonna tell you, I've done these before. You want to know where I won't get it right? Don't give me Southeast Asian islands. And I'm not talking like the Philippines, okay? I'm talking like those shit-ass islands all the way out in the Pacific. Like, no, I can't name that shit. My brother can do that because he's a big World War II, like, buff. But no, I can't freaking do it. It's so damn hard. Here, chat, you want me to try it with the states?
North Dakota. Indiana.
Wait.
Maine. North
I had to think for a
Carolina.
second.
Illinois. Virginia. New York. Alaska. Kentucky. California. Wisconsin. Oklahoma. Kansas. Montana. Colorado. New Jersey. Idaho. Georgia. Tennessee. Washington.
I assume that's state.
Rhode Island. Ohio. Oregon. Arizona. Delaware. Nevada. South Carolina. Texas. Louisiana. New Mexico. Vermont.
Oh, fuck. Fuck. Ah.
South Dakota.
Yes.
Wyoming. Minnesota, Maryland, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Missouri, New Hampshire, Iowa, Michigan, Connecticut, Nebraska, Florida,
I don't know where that one is.
Alabama, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, Hawaii, Massachusetts.
Yeah, so you saw there was only like one or two where I even had to think. And it was like, wait, I feel like Vermont is the left one and New Hampshire's the right one. Rhode Island's, yes. You and me had to think for a second. I really did. I was like, oh shit. But yeah, in general, I'm good. I used to know all the capitals by heart too. Now I don't. Now you'd fuck me if I had to do the capitals. I knew someone from high school who thought Cuba was in Africa. Yeah. I mean, Africa's hard. Asia's not the worst. Let's see if I can do Asia.
Georgia,
One of you's Georgia, the other one's Armenia. Damn it.
Malaysia,
Which one's bigger, Malaysia or Indonesia? No, that's Singapore. What? Did it? It
East
didn't.
Timor,
Okay, it fucked me on that one, chat. East Timor. It's Brunei. Wait, East Timor. It's not Africa. It's somewhere down here. I'm not insane, right? Like, no, Bhutan. Fuck. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's down here. Oh, bro, I can't even see that.
Bangladesh,
I was like, I'm pretty sure it's down here. I literally can't see it. Bangladesh. One of you's Myanmar, the other one's Bangladesh.
Maldives, Tajikistan,
Oh, the stands. Iran. Pakistan. Kyrgyzstan, damn it. One of you's Uzbekistan.
Pakistan,
Yep.
South Korea, China, Nepal,
Nipple.
Lebanon,
Oh, fuck me.
Taiwan,
Yeah,
Vietnam,
some of these I legitimately do have to think.
Afghanistan,
Afghanistanimation.
Mongolia, Armenia, Kuwait, India, Philippines, Israel, Jordan,
That's Syria.
North Korea, Bhutan,
Oh, Brunei. Wait, Bhutan. Oh, yeah, Bhutan's this.
Oman, Singapore, Turkmenistan,
Ah. Damn it. I did it again. No.
United Arab Emirates,
UAE. Here?
Laos,
Laos.
Russia, Sri Lanka, Azerbaijan, Japan, Bahrain,
Oh, damn it. That's Qatar.
Turkey,
That one I had to guess on.
Brunei, Syria, Thailand, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Uzbekistan, Myanmar, Cambodia, Yemen, Indonesia, Qatar, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan,
Way worse! Way worse! To be fair, my score should be higher because, like, again, on that first one there with Malaysia, it screwed me. It thought I clicked on Singapore, and I thought I clicked on Malaysia, and then it was like, oh, it's telling me not. But yeah. Are we bleaching countries? Pretty much. I just was trying to show chat I do have a very good, like, thing, but I also know I'm way above average on this. Like, most people cannot get most of these. I'm not even going to attempt the others. The others are much, much, much harder. But yes, we will continue. I didn't know half these existed. Yep. And, like, let's be honest. Like, do you need to know? I remember when he had the whole, like, BS in the Strait of Hormuz going on, everyone was like, oh, why do I know so much of this? Why is it constantly in the news? I hate that I know where this is. Because, like, I think people just like to live in their own world, and they legitimately don't want to know more about the goings-on in the greater world. They don't want to know where things are unless it's, like, a fancy tourist destination that they feel like would be really cool to flaunt to their friends. Or just don't need to know, yeah. Edison's is in the lead, Jesus. Okay, did you see the Ananta release date trailer? I did. I'm still not sure what to think about that game. Like, apparently for that one, I think it's that they're only going to be monetizing the cosmetics in the game. So that's at least a start. That doesn't sound as bad as a normal gacha game. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't have a lot of faith in these gacha games not to just make themselves a true, like, soul-sucking live service that just forces you to play them constantly like it's a chore. So, we'll see. Like, that's something where I have a tacit interest in it, but I'm not sure that it will be a big one in the end. Ananta isn't a gacha? That's not. At least not in the, it's not in the conventional sense, I would agree. And yeah, maybe I was misunderstanding, but I was assuming it was a like cosmetic gacha. But maybe now you're saying that it's just gonna be actually like pay for skins and stuff. BB Lily. Now, chat, if you really want to see something insane, I can show you my other talent. I have a brain melting talent. Mongolian throat singing. No. Yeah, I can kind of hit that note, but I cannot keep it going. No, my brain melting talent is this. I'm gonna darken it first just so it doesn't blind all of chat. And chat, you guys have seen me do this before on stream. This is an extreme Sudoku. But I've upgraded, and there's such a thing as killer Sudoku, where they don't even really give it to you. And I can do extreme killer Sudoku. Sorry, expert killer Sudoku. I don't think it goes to extreme. To be fair, there's no way it can really get harder than this. So. However, I could not do it as easily on this keyboard. So. But the way it works is it's very similar where like only certain things can be in certain ones. Because there's only certain combinations of numbers that it can be. And if I had a numpad on this keyboard, I could go a lot faster. It's 4, not 6. There we go. I wish I could copy paste. It takes a little bit to set up. Oh. Hyper extreme, yeah. So Sudoku is just numbers. Oh, I did that wrong. Everything has to add up. So for instance, these 2 boxes add up to 10. You can't have 5 and 5 in a row because Sudoku's rules don't allow for that. So it's just operating within the set of confined rules. Actually, all numbers are available here. I don't know how to explain Sudoku to people. It's really weird. But you can see just how many of these I know off the top of my head. And I want to keep you guys in mind, I'm doing all of this without a numpad. Actually, this can only be 6, 7, 8, 9. This can only be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can only be 1, 2, 3, 4. Can only be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And you'll see what I'm doing here in a second. I've almost completed the grid. But yeah, if you guys saw me doing this at full speed, you would probably be like, what the fuck? What is he even doing? I don't understand any of this, but whatever we're doing seems amazing. Yeah, so Sudoku has a couple of rules. There can only be within any row or column, there can only be the same number once. 1 through 9. Within any 3x3 grid, they can only add up to 45. And Killer Sudoku basically removes all the numbers and says, hey, we're just going to give you boxes, and the totals of the boxes have to add up to whatever they are. Like, this box is 21, which means the 4 digits in this must add up to 21. Okay, so now we've filled out the whole thing as far as I can tell. I know that's a 2, that's a 3, because they're just singles. Was there any other singles? Yeah. So I did notice one here. We have 4 that add up to 27. Earlier, you guys saw me up here with the 4 that add up to 30. That can only be 6, 7, 8, 9. I happen to know that one just off the top of my head. Okay? But this is 27. 27 is 3 less than that, which means if we know that 6, 7, 8, 9 only work, aka our 4 biggest numbers only work for 30, then we do know that 27 must similarly be that basically minus 3. Okay, so to walk you through this, if this were 29 and 4, we could fit a 5 here. If this were 28, we could fit a 4. But this is 27, which means that we can fit a 3. But what that tells us is that it can never be lower than 3. So 1 and 2 cannot be in any of these boxes. Now, there's already a 2 in this quadrant, so you can't have anything there. We're also missing from 7. The pairing is usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for this. We're missing our 2 and our 3 over here, which 2 and 5 would make that up, which means 5 can't be here. 3 and 4 make that up, so 3 can't be there. 3 is also not on this side, so it can't be there. So we're eliminating numbers. We're taking process of elimination. The 3 is gone from each of these blocks of this 10 box. So 3 can't be here, but 7 then also can't be there. We happen to see that this is a pointed pair is what it's referred to, which means that any of these numbers, because these can only be 1 and 3, 1 and 3 are specifically here in this column. Means there cannot be a 1 and 3 anywhere else. Also within this box, 1 and 3 can only be here. Now, because we took out 1 and 3, 4 and 6 can't also be here. Which means this is 2 and 5, which gives us another pointed pair. And now, process of elimination, we've taken out 1 and 3, 2 and 5, and we know that 6, 7, 8, and 9 can't be here, so these 3 can't, which leaves only 4. 4 out of a box of 11 means that essentially we have 7 left over, which means none of these can be greater than 7. And we know that a pairing of 2 boxes equaling to 7 makes that same thing that it did down there. So 4 can't be here, so 3 can't be here. 2 isn't here, so 5 can't be here. And you notice there's a little bit of pattern symmetry. Up here, we're missing a 2 because it was down here. So 3 can't be here. Yeah, and don't worry, if I'm going too slow for some of you guys, like, feel free to point things out, but essentially, that's all I'm doing. This is a pointed pair downward. You can't be here, so 5 can't be here. Now we have another pointed pair due to this. And that's 6. So 6 and 7 can't be there because these 2 add up to 13. 6 can't be part of that anyways, but 3 is also conspicuously missing, which means 9 can't be here. We know 4 and 6 can't be here since they're how you would make 10 if 6 were part of that combination. We have another one up here, 8, which is 8 and 1, and 9. Also no 3 up here, which means we can remove the 6s. So 8 and 9 on downward. Does Kiki like any puzzles? She loves puzzles, just not ones like this. I'm a psychopath, I guess. And then again, remember, everything else can add up to this. So because we know the total of this box is 45, let's take this lower left one. 10 plus 16 is 26. Plus 13 is 39, which then means out of 45, 39, there can only be a 6 remaining, which is this one box that this didn't add up to. There we go, we got 6 and 1 right there. Again, it's not as hard as it looks, truly. It's just, I think it's daunting for people when they first see it. And I'm going very slow compared to how I normally do. 1 is no longer here, which means 4 is not there. We know that that's a 2 already, so that can be an 8. 5 and 7 add up, but 4 doesn't. Because 4 would need 8 there to be the pairing. Which means 5 can't be here, so this is now 4 and 9. So, we have 2 more pointed pairs. Wait, whoa. I just did it dumb. Okay, hold on. My brain was like, this is 9, but truly we don't know that. We just know that 4 cannot be here, same thing with 9 in any of these. Because this is a box of 10. It would take me a while to finish it, yeah. Oh, that's fair. Some of these do take me a while as well. Okay, so we have another one where this is the only box, like all of these are contained within the 3x3 grid, and we can add them all up. So 9 plus 21 is 30, plus 14 is 44, so this must be 1. I don't know why it skipped down. I must have hit the down arrow or something. Okay, so we can add these 3 boxes up. This is going to make 30. This is 35. So this means these 2 remaining add up to 10. Even though, to show you guys what I'm doing here. Okay. Oops. I'm talking about these 2 adding up to equal 10. You obviously have a 9 here and a 10 here, but we added up all of these to learn that the 2 remaining equals 10. So, we know in any 10 there cannot be 2 5s side by side, so that is what it is. The 6s are without their 4s. 9 is not here, so 1 cannot be here. And this is interesting, because we know that this is a 10 going downward. So 2 and 3 and 7 and 8 work, but the 4 has no pairing, nor does the 9. So we can mark that out. Now, since we know that this adds up to 10, the 1 cannot be up here either. And now that we know that this adds up to 9, 2 and 7 can make 9, so these 2 pairings are good. 3 and 6 make 9, but 3 has no 6 here. Because 3 has no 6, 7 cannot exist here. Because 7 cannot exist here, 3 cannot exist here. So you can see how it's almost going, like, one square affects the others. There's no 1, so 8 can't be here. And we know while 4 and 5 do work, there's no 4 and 5 up here, so neither one has an opposite pairing. So, we've removed 8. Therefore, 2 comes out of here. Because 2 is not here, 8 comes out of here. And you can see, we have this. Now we have 2 more pointed pairs going in both directions. Including all within this. So this lets us get rid of a lot. including that right there. Not going fast is fine. Well, happy to catch up on the story, and now this is the stream. Yeah, sorry, I totally get distracted like this, and it is a problem of mine. Okay, so that's now 5 and 9. And we'll pick things up. I won't explain every single one of my moves that I'm making here. That is 2. That is 7. That is 2. That is 8. 3 and 5 add up. 6 and 2 would, but there is no 2 there, so that means that's 3 and 5. All the way down. Huh? My record completion time for this is 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Just FYI. And that's not a common thing. 13 plus 21 is 34. 34 is 11 here, so we know that 1 can't be in either of these. 4 and 7 on both sides do make that up. 5 is missing over here, so we'll remove 6 from over here. We can also try to add up entire, like, rows and columns. So, give you guys an example. Let me pull open my calculator here. We know that the amount of a square is 45. We also know that the amount of a row is 45. We also know that the amount of a column is 45. So what can we tell based off of that? We can tell that this is 45 and this is 45. Therefore, adding up the contents of 2 columns side by side would equal 90. So, based off of that, let's take 17. Oh, that's an equal... Oh my god, that is going to be fucking annoying. No! 17 plus 9 plus 7 plus 22 plus 10 plus 21 plus 3 plus 2 is equal to 91. So that means, since we took the 21, which was this shape, even though we took all the rest of these, it means that this is 1. Okay. And you can also do the standard Sudoku bullshit. So for instance, this is the only one that remains in this. So these do actually probably add up to 9. If I had... Actually, yeah, no, they 100% do. Which means that that is 7 and that is 2. Taking a look. Nothing else here does. So boom, boom. That's that. Makes that, and that. We're getting very close to solving the whole thing. And once you start filling in, you reach like a critical mass where you've hit everything that you can possibly reduce down, and eventually it's almost like a domino falling, and all of it falls into place. All of it. This is actually a fairly easy one. So we can add this up. 20 plus 13 is 33. Plus 7, we'll say, is 40, 46, 48. This means that this is 3. Because that's 3, that's part of the square, so there can't be another 3 within the same square. That then means that this is 3. Which means that this adds up to 10. Which means that you cannot be a 9, you cannot be a 9. Means that you're 4. You can't be a 9. You're a 9. You're an 8, you're a 9. You're 3, you're an 8. you're a 7, you're a 2, you're a 9, you're a 1, you're a 9. This is 10, so this only can add up to 11. 4 and 7 is 11, 5 and 6 is... Oh, damn, we're so close. 8 and 6. 4, 3, 5. Here we go. 9, 5, 4, 8. 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 5. 7, 2, 6, 7, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 5, 3, 7, 6, 4, 8, 5, 6, 8, 9, 4, 9, 8, 9, 1, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 9. There you go, chat. I did all that without a number pad. That sucked, but that is what that is. Okay, let's continue. So, like I said, it falls like a domino when you start getting to the end. Said earlier I don't have ADD, but I really don't. I just definitely can get sidetracked easily, but it's usually I'm aware of it and it's a willing thing. But yeah, like I said, that's my record time is 4 minutes 12 seconds. I can't consistently produce it. Usually I'm somewhere around the like 10 to 15 minute mark. I don't know, that's not good. Have I ever taken an IQ test? No. Not since like grade school. I can tell you I'm very good at problem solving usually, but I don't know if that's because I'm left-handed. I don't know if that's because I do occasionally like problems, like in terms of puzzles and stuff. I'm usually very quick at solving things, which is very funny because Kiki's 100% more towards the like word side of puzzles and problems, and she's a lot faster at that than I am. She likes to play a certain game that involves wordplay all the time, and I consider myself to be someone that's very witty. She can run circles around me with that. I still got a 118. Nice. Can't completely see solids. Yeah, it is what it is. A lot of those they try to do like patterns and stuff, right? So it becomes pattern recognition. And I don't know that pattern recognition is necessarily a good like test of someone's IQ, because you can train your brain to detect patterns. Plus, again, we are as a species a pattern-seeking species. Yeah, nobody should trust Kazura Drop. Hmm. That incredible dad energy. Uh-huh. Being dyslexic ain't fun. Yeah, I know, I think it's both Kiki and her sister have, like normal dyslexia when it comes to, like, reading, but I don't think they have it when it comes to writing or something. I don't remember. It's very interesting, though, because both of them are clearly very smart. Yeah, math dyslexia would be rough. Yeah, why does it look like a moon cell? Okay. So I'm forced to set MASH, but the game's not going to put MASH in there. Is Calculia? Why does that sound like a cousin of Dracula? It's Caligula. Whoa! I want to jumble your numbers. He can't be a count, he can't math, yes. I'm the Count of Dyscalculia. I mean, as long as there's someone here that's gonna protect us. Really don't want to leave us alone. I like how there's, like, no hurry. Like, at any point, one of them could tip their popularity over 70% and we all just get annihilated, but, like, what's the rush? I just... what? Okay, that was fast. I thought there was going to be more dialogue there. Creepy indeed. Rongo bongo. I don't think that worked for you guys. Oh, there's more of you. Damn it. And here I was, really just hoping.
強気ですね。そこです。いい。やっ。誇りにかけ突撃。受けるがいい。やっ。
Oh, what do they cause burn? Yeah. Of course they do. Lion take us back, yep. When are we gonna get to talk with the lion tank, chat? I agree. Sin was interesting in our talks with QSH, but ultimately I felt like that Lost Belt just did not have a lot going for it. That seemed really humanized, QSH, yeah. He tends to undercook. I could see that. Dedicated to gags, which just doesn't make an engaging story and one that's already padded out and all time gated. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's because the story's progression is so predictable. You don't have a twist immediately inherent there. You can see where the story is going and you know it will go there, and the only twists will be in the who and the how. So it's like the story, honestly, at face value, and I can't say like whether or not later on that changes, I'm sure it does, but at face value right now, the story seems to have a very boring like structure to it. So it's like, we know we're going to go around, we know we're going to beat up the moon cancers, we know we're going to essentially prevent the destruction of humanity, and then like something's going to happen and shit's going to hit the fan again, and then we're going to have to like go all out. So yes, I do believe it's very slice of life, it's taking its time, there's no sense of urgency, and you know what your next objective is within reason. So it doesn't make for a very gripping, dramatic story full of twists and turns. At least not yet. It's standard Nasu? Yeah. I think this is also a much bigger chapter if you're a huge fan of the Sakura 5 and of like CCC and the Moon Cell shenanigans and all that. For me, while I do get why people like that, I've preferred the original stories of Fate to sort of the Moon Cell saga. And while I do still think that these are interesting, and this is more interesting than a lot of the Moon Cell stuff, at least for set dressing, I kind of just still feel like this is more predictable than it normally is. We had days to breathe between the engagement. And I think to a degree I'm okay with that. I think my problem is the true everything's okay, will be fine sentiment that keeps happening in the slice of life segments. Like if I think back to Stay Night, it's like, yeah, there is slice of life and there is those moments of levity and joy and everything, but ultimately the characters are somewhat serious. And I don't feel like the characters in this one are taking it very seriously, if that makes sense. Okay, chat. We're at the end of section 9. I'm going to stop here, though, because it is 11 o'clock. Let me see who all is on. Well, I can give some love to. I am seeing a streamer formerly known as Ludes, who is on. He has gone through a name change, chat. And we're going to be sending love his way, so go give that man some love. I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, stream is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, so thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for all the support. Hopefully we'll have more to talk about tomorrow. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys get on the Discord. Easiest way to keep in touch. Know when I go live next. But yeah, hope you guys have a great evening. I'll talk to y'all later.